Now, is it okay?
So, hi, so I'm Renee, and I'm not sure if Amanda's told you, but there'll be 4 sessions sort of over roughly every fortnight, although there's a little bit of a break.
Yes.
So hopefully by the end of these 4 sessions, I've given you, plus there's some people, other people that are going to come and join us along the way, some tools to help you with your personal goals. So I think today we're going to sort of more touch on Siri and who we are and everything, and then maybe establish what your sort of personal goals are, so then we can tailor and what you would like out of this as well. I think the 4 sessions, based on, there was a little bit of a survey that we did at the beginning. I think we've met the brief on most of those questions that were answered through the survey, but if there's anything that we haven't, then we can just add it in or adjust along the way. So yeah, I work for an organisation called Siri Services. So it's one of the largest non-for-profit organisations in the eastern suburbs. So it's made up of special schools from years 5 to 12. So they're for children that maybe can't attend mainstream schools, that maybe they don't fit the box. So we've got early learning. We've got the community hubs. So we've got, this is a community hub that we run here. We've got another one at Chermside Park. Yeah. And then also training, which is we do accredited training, so where you get a certificate in something, pre-accredited, which is what we do, what I'm doing, reconnect, work skills and fee for service. So for example, if you wanted a certificate, you needed to get your first aid or your food safety, that sort of stuff, like work skills, or if you wanted to go back to study again, we do like the diploma in community services, we do aged care, education support, so you can work in schools and be an education assistant. We do quite a few different courses. We also have another program called Reconnect, where if you haven't worked for a long period of time or studied, you can have a caseworker assigned to you, which will help you if you do want to maybe potentially study in the future. They can help you with study options, they support you along the way. They give you some, they pay like financial assistance with paying for the course, etc. So that's also another option that we can talk about. Yeah, so basically the pre-accredited training space, which is where I work, it's about sort of just building on those soft skills. It's a very relaxed environment, it's student-centred, so it's about what the students or the participants want, confidence building, and potentially a volunteer job and education meeting, so depending on where you're at in your personal life. Yeah. It's just some participants, some students that attend Siri. So like I said before, we've got work skill courses, so if you did need first aid or CPR, food safety, that sort of stuff, we offer that as well. Yeah. And then we've got the qualified courses that we offer too. We do partner with a lot of organisations, so there is a lot of ways to refer other services onto you. We can't completely give you what you want, like we don't have all the tools. We work with a lot of different organisations to help you just achieve your personal goals and outcomes. So that's just some of them up there that we work with. And we've formed pretty good relationships over the years. I run, as part of my job for Siri, I run a training program, and it's based out of a live retail shop. So we have a clothing shop here. It's called First Impressions Clothing Exchange. And we have 2 locations, the one in Roebuck, like we were talking about, yeah, and just here at Yarra Junction, a smaller version. And basically, it's a retail training space that offers mentoring opportunities and volunteering opportunities to women, but we also provide ongoing support. We help with job readiness, career advice, resumes, cover letters, especially if you haven't worked for a long time and you want to get back into workforce. Sometimes volunteering is a very good way to get some work skills. Working in teams, working with other people, building your confidence, and you can pop that on your resume as well. Yeah, so basically, we just obviously, our main focus is connecting women back with the community, and sometimes it's not about even working straight away, it's just getting that confidence up, meeting with other like-minded women, you know, being in that sort of safe space, it's a non-judgmental space. You know, we've got varying ages from 15 to 70. Yeah, so some people, women come to be community minded, others come, you know, because they have a goal in mind, which is to get back into the workforce or to study or to change careers. So we just help with things like identifying transferable skills to succeed. For example, you might have been, you know, like in one industry, I don't know, retail, we don't want to get back into retail, you want to go into something else. So how do you do that? What does it look like? Yeah. Yeah, interview preparation, job readiness, future payments and goal setting, empowerment and confidence building, financial literacy, and making community connections, which is really important. So yeah, but basically, what I've just said, we just focus on upskilling learners and their employability skills, and through practical, hands-on learning opportunities, and we've had a good success rate so far, and we've probably got 15 women volunteering between the two shops at the moment, and I think that's just about to increase by another 5 or 6, which is great. Yeah. So things that that's some of the things that you can gain knowledge in. So just, yeah, those sort of retail operations, communication, safe work practices, administration. We run a lot of community events as well, so there's a bit of that too. And it's quite fun. So the program outcomes since launching, so we've been around since about 2019. So we've supported over 70 women through our mentoring and volunteering program. We've had over 300 women be involved in our community events. So we run pamper days and makeup masterclasses, and we've had a fashion parade, which we launched another one this year. And then the women that volunteer under the community, they're the ones that they run it, and they also are on the catwalk and modelling the clothes from the shop. Yeah, it's a really fun event. So I think we're going to try. We're going to have one last year, but obviously, you know, last year, let's forget about last year. We were shut for most of last year. So the goal is to have one around spring for, you know, going into summer and spring racing and party season and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so about 470 hours of support through mentoring, empowerment, upskilling workshops. We supported women through COVID as well, through Zoom sessions. We did a makeup session online through COVID. We sent out makeup packs in the mail. Yeah, that was quite fun. We had a weekly sort of hour of power every week through COVID, and that was really, I think, important just to stay connected with each other, because it was quite an isolating time for a lot of people, I think. Yeah, we've done about we've done more than that now, but over about 1,800 transactions at both of our stores. And that's one of our volunteers. So we did a roadshow. So that's Donna, who's now employed. So she's not volunteering with us anymore, but this is at the front of Yarra Junction. This is at the front here before we had the shop. So that's a quote from Donna. She saw me do a Facebook Live and rang me up and said, "Oh, I want to come and volunteer." You know, she wasn't in a great place at all, sort of with her confidence and emotionally as well, and her mental health. I said, "When do you want to come down?" And she goes, "Can I come down now? Because if I don't, I won't." I went, "Yep, come down now." Yeah, so that was 2 years ago, and it's taken a little while for her to find the right employment, because she's caring for children as well, and children that need support. So we worked really closely with her to get the right job for her. She's had employment, then it wasn't the right employment, then gone back out, but the whole time she stayed volunteering with us because she needed it for her mental health, to connect with other women who could support her. And then now she's working 5 days a week part-time, so that's a really wonderful outcome. And then this is Maria, so similar story. Maria came to us around the same time and hadn't worked for 12 years, stay-at-home mum. And you heard Maria speak, Amanda.
I met this lady, she's amazing.
Yeah, so, you know, again, PTSD, some personal issues, that sort of stuff, and came to volunteer and became part of our Reconnect program, which helps with the study pathways and enrolled to do the Diploma of Community Service. They supported her through that and through the course and everything. And yeah, now she's working for us, for Siri, 1 day a week, still finishing her studies, and a completely different, changed woman, yeah. So confident and you know, proud of who, you know, she's just proud of what she's done, what she's achieved. You know, she's sort of stopped just thinking of herself as, you know, a mum or as a wife, or, you know, that was the big shift for her. She was just in that little box, I suppose, and hadn't taken a chance on herself and moving forward and what did she want out of life. So yeah, it's an amazing journey. So I just thought I'm going to do a little bit of an icebreaker. I wonder why the bowl of fruits up here. But maybe Amanda can play in this as well. I just thought we can go around and properly introduce ourselves while you're here. And what's your favourite fruit and why?
I love all the fruit.
So do you want to start?
I think I love all the fruit.
Yeah.
But I think I love bananas.
Yeah.
And the reason is because you can just eat it anytime. You don't need to, you know, wash anything, or, you know, it's just like accessible.
Yes.
At any time. Yeah. And I think that would be my favorite. Like in terms of, you know, getting all the goodies in your body, and then, you know, don't need anything really. Yeah. You can just, you know, put it anywhere and then, you know, eat it.
That's awesome. And what do you hope to get out of these sessions? What's your?
I think for me it will be like, you know, have more confidence, to be able to, you know, have a better job, or, you know, apply for things that I believe that I can achieve. So I think that's what I would want. Maybe some more work on the resume, but I think for me it will be more of the, you know, having that confidence, and because sometimes it gets, you know, stressful, like anything, like you're looking at some job applications, or not exactly like the job description, you know, looking at them and say, oh my God, it's just too many things. How do I know that I can, you know, put everything all together? But for me to be able to, you know, what's the word? Like achieve that, that confidence level, to not be, you know, stressed when I see that. I think
to know, you know what to do, you've got the tools.
Exactly,
yes. Yeah, well, hopefully.
Yes, that's possible, yeah.
That's it. And what about you, Mona?
About
The fruit?
Yes, I eat 1 apple every day, just for my body to be healthy, can help to my son, because my son has MS.
MS?
Yes, 34 years old.
Yeah.
Nothing doesn't anything, and every time I have to hospitality for him, and I think my body have to be strong,
yes,
to hospitality for him because he has just me and her sister.
Yeah.
And sometimes Moshe comes and help me to bring some food for him. But always I am worried I have to make healthy food for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But I think I have to out of house sometimes like today to get energy. Energy, and when I was young, I worked everywhere, and I saw course for disability.
Yes.
Student.
Yeah.
And when I came here from my country, I worked some school for disability people, student. And I know my English is not well, but in my mind, I have lots of experience because of my country. I saw lots of course for these students.
Yeah.
And I didn't know one day I used for my son, but I do right now for him, and doesn't matter if if somewhere needs to me for my experience, why not? I go there, and hospitality for some student as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be very hard
Yeah.
looking after challenging looking after your son, because it's a progressive illness, MS, isn't it? So it only gets unfortunately worse over time, doesn't it? So
high
very
depression as
your son has depression.
yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday from this morning just didn't talk to me, and his face is very angry. And I thought, how can do with him?
Yeah.
Didn't talk to him because I knew if I started to talk to him, he can't handle that.
No.
I just like that.
Yeah.
Silence.
Yes.
Until the night, he came and started to talk to me slowly. And after that, I was very tired and told him, Reza, the name is Reza. Reza, if you don't need me, I have to go and sleep. He told me, okay, Mom, have a good sleep. That's it.
Yeah.
And I slept very calm because I realized I had him to have an opportunity to find himself.
Yeah.
And then no any something like that, because sometimes I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Because he got upset and like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I can't sleep well. But last night he just gave me a opportunity to sleep well. That's it.
That must be,
Yes.
very challenging.
Yes.
We never stop being mothers, do we? Have you got children?
Yes.
Yes, how many have you got?
One.
One, yeah.
Son,
Son.
16.
16, yeah, I've got a nearly 15-year-old and a nearly 12-year-old, so, yeah. What was your favourite food, Amanda?
I'm not super keen on fruit. I do like bananas. I love the convenience as well. Like when you're really busy and you're like, oh my god, I'm feeling weak because I'm hungry. I need to hours and you just pop one in and then like having a coffee almost. And I like berries. I like berries to put like on top of things and to put into smoothies. But like, I don't know, I'm not really keen on anything else.
No. I'm a bit the same, I'm not a big fruit person, but I do love my berries, so I'll have like my strawberries, my blueberries, my raspberries, my blackberries.
Yeah.
Don't
And an apple.
Don't rush after berry or something.
Don't
Like
rush.
strawberry, like the rash.
Oh,
like
I
allergy.
don't, do you get a rash?
Sometimes
No, I
when I eat more,
Yeah.
maybe I get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of an icebreaker to get to, you know, get us all comfortable. So the next sort of this is all building up to seeing how we view ourselves as women, because interesting, we had a market, cereal market, an Easter market at the community hub in Chermside Park, and I had a stall there for the shop and had a couple of clothes racks and all that sort of stuff, and we had a lot of women coming through and trying to get chatting to them and tell them it was a shop in Moorpark and about our services and stuff. And I met some really lovely ladies there yesterday, but one in particular, I started chatting to her and she said, oh, I'd like to come down and potentially volunteer and all that. I said, oh, so, you know, what do you do? She says, oh, I'm just a mum. I'm just a single mum. You know, she came out of a domestic sort of violence relationship. I said, no, you're not just a mum. So I don't know whether you guys want to just write it down or you feel comfortable talking. But if I was to meet you, or if you would just introduce yourself and talk to you about yourself for the first time with someone, how would you describe yourself? How would you introduce yourself? Do you want to, I can give you some paper, you can write it down, you can verbalise it.
Just introduce the kids. شده معرفی می‌کنیم.
الان
دیگه مثلا من یه نفر دیدم گفتش که من فقط مادرم، گفتم تو فقط مادر نیستی، مثلا خیلی آدم مهمی هستی. تو مثلا شما خودتون چطور معرفی می‌کنید؟ حالا میگن می‌خواید که بنویسی یا می‌تونید مثلا شفاهی.
خب من که گفتم.
So sometimes we define ourselves as a carer, like your mum might define herself as a carer.
Yeah, because she said that I said what I said was maybe the answer to this one.
Yes. So, but truthfully, how you see yourself now? Do you see yourself as a mum, as a carer? You know, do you have a partner? You know, is there some medical issues or mental health? I mean, only say what you feel comfortable writing down, but
I think to me, like, I feel that I have different roles in life, you know, and it just comes back to me because I remember when I was in high school, we had literature, like, you know, literature, and like one of them was like the grammar of that. And I remember the teacher said, for example, one word in this sentence, it can be a verb, it's a job it has in that, you know, in that sentence, it can be a verb, but then the same thing, or, you know, maybe we just add a little bit to it, or, you know, take something from it, and then it will be maybe a noun somewhere else. So, and then like, for example, like me, and then she said, I'm your teacher here, but at home, I'm a mother. So it always sometimes, I mean, not always, sometimes it, you know, comes back to what she said.
Yes.
That, you know, it like applies to me. Sometimes I'll be a carer, and then as a carer, I need to, you know, see what is best for my son.
Yes.
And that's the role or that hat that I'm wearing.
Yes.
The other times, maybe I need to cherish him more. So I'll be like, more like a mother rather than, okay, is this really something, he needs? Or, maybe if it's not something, maybe I need to sort of be more like a mother than, what he's going to do for his independence.
Yes.
So that would be something in relation to him. Some other times I may think about myself, thinking that, no, I'm not just a carer. I also have, my own brain.
Yes.
And my own mindset. So what do I need to do for myself? So that, because sometimes if I, just do one thing all the time, sort of to me, it's like it changes the balance for me.
Yes.
So if I do too much of caring, it seems that I haven't looked after myself.
Yeah.
So I need to feel that, okay, what else I need to do to make me as a person to feel good about myself, to
Yes.
be able to do more, or to live the life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I think for me, I always try to remember that, and it can be like every day I need to do some reading, for example, to be able to understand or be updated about things. If I don't do it, then at the end of the day, I'm thinking, oh, I haven't done anything to sort of like for my brain activity.
Yeah.
So I always try my best, or even like the food, for example, the food that I always try to have, healthy, balanced food. And if sometimes I eat something, not healthy, then I think, okay, maybe I need to compensate for another day. So for me, in my mind, I always have challenges for different things. Always I have to think, okay, these are the things I need to think of, or even, my body, like, going for exercise or, walk. So that, my physical body is also okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, no matter what I do, like, even though I always consider all these options for myself to sort of like, be mindful of all these roles that I have, but then like I still have to take some medication for cholesterol in this aspect. So, or like vitamin D, I have deficiency, so it's just something about like it becomes like osteo. It's something just before, and no matter what I do, still every time it just gets worse. So sometimes whatever you do, it still doesn't work, but you still have to have your spirit up.
You do. And I'm listening to you now, and you said just even a few minutes ago, like you sometimes lack some confidence in doing certain things, but I'm listening to a very confident woman that is, because of those things you are confident about, because being the carer and the mother and knowing your inner voice and stuff like that, to yourself, and to ask her, how then do you get that one next further? Do you know what I mean? For everyone else to see, just what I saw there. Very capable.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you heard that, Amanda, but very confident, capable, and a lot of reflection. So I think sometimes I don't know, as women, we kind of just, it's like an expectation. Do you know what I mean? We've just got to get on with the job, or we've just got to, and we don't sort of sometimes step back enough and sort of give ourselves credit for all of the things that we do. And how do we transfer that confidence that you've got there into the areas that you want to be really confident in? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just to that next.
I think when I was working full time and my child was very young, you get to that level that you only think that you're a person who needs to do the job. So there was no time for me or my intellectual being, and that was something that deprived me from being a person. So I think one of the things that still to this day worries me sometimes is that how do I balance it, like when I am ready, or when I get that confidence to go to work, or like have a full-time position, for example, how do I still look after myself? Every day it just, in my mind, I think, how do I still, work and have a good income, and then also look after myself and not to be stressed and be able to do all these things that I still do, but also be able to work. So this is also something that worries me.
Yeah, and that's very valid. It's very valid worry. It's probably a space I sit in a little bit sometimes. I work full time. I'm a single mum, so but do you have a partner?
No,
just you and your son.
Yes.
And he's 16.
Yes, he's 16, and he has disability.
He has disability.
Autism and intellectual disability. So
Yeah. Does he have a carer or anything like that?
Well, we have NDIS, but then we do have some carers, like the work, like they call support workers.
Support workers, yes.
So for us to get to know someone, and then for him to sort of like trust the person, but then most of the time, like after that, they don't have time to come. So it's like, still I'm the person, like the main person to provide for him. Like he can't even cut the fruit, like for taking to school. I still have to do his lunchbox. And he's at the stage that he gets really worried. If I haven't done it at night time, it stays a worry for him until the morning that, I mean, it takes a long time for me to do that. And that's, like we had carers who come and, we showed them, or even with the OT, how to do it, so he can do this. But then at the end, like he's not able to do it like, as a consistent activity.
Yes.
Like he doesn't want to touch things, he has some sensory issues.
Yes.
So, then, like with the carers, they come one day, but we don't have someone who can come all the time.
You want the same person, you want that, well, not the same, or maybe there's 2 or 3, but you know that you've got 2 or 3.
Yes, but we haven't had any, like with different organizations. They're good people, but they're students. So if they have studies, they don't come.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's all on me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's.
So I'm just thinking maybe when he turns 18 and then he's maybe growing more, and then maybe he doesn't, have to have every day at school. Maybe if he goes to, TAFE or something, then I have more time to sort of like, if I have a full-time job, maybe then it will be, something that he can help with, or, but this is something, in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, that would be, I think, the challenge of getting the consistent carers, I think that's something to potentially maybe have as a goal there, but it's not going to happen straight away because he's potentially, by the sounds of it, going to need carers for the rest of his life, yes?
I think so, or at least, when he needs to be out, I don't think that he can, go on the bus, like today we came by bus, and then I was just looking at, other students in the bus going to school, but, there's no way that he's able to, have such thing like a journey to school. I mean, at the moment I take him to school, bring him back home, but that I can see that, he's not able to do it, so I think he will be.
Does he go to mainstream school?
He does go to mainstream school.
Yes.
He has support, like paid support there.
Yes.
Why NDIS doesn't take to school and
they have the funding, but finding the right organization is difficult. Like we had some, if you remember last year, some days a worker will bring him home, but the same worker is not working this year, and they say, well, you want us to find someone for you, but all they have are students.
Have you thought about going through, and I know we're digressing, this is fine, because this is what it's all about, it's not.
Yes.
Have you thought about using the Maple app, where people, like, say for example, if I was a support worker, I don't go through an organisation and I start picking up clients.
I know, I had tried something similar, it wasn't Maple at that time.
You might get just that, because those people are there to have consistent clients, do you know what I mean? And then
they're not like that, because years ago it wasn't Maple, similar, I forgot the name, but then it's sort of like you advertise and then people tell you about themselves, and then you pick
Yes.
So for that one also, it's not like, I didn't have a good, experience, like it wasn't very good, because like, first of all, like the people who come, they're different, like, and if they have another, like one of them said, because I have another job, which is better, you only want me for 2 hours, the other one wants me for the full day, so I don't come, easy as that. And they're honest, they tell me, and I accept that. So then I have to go and find someone else, and then the same thing, like if they find someone who is giving them more hours, then they, just because you don't have any contract, like you do have a contract.
Yes,
but because it's like maybe they're like freelance, or they can just, pick and choose, so easily they just, say, no, I don't come.
Yeah.
And that's why, and then like their age, like they were like, some of them were very like older than my son, and I thought, I don't feel comfortable.
No, you want someone sort of young adult.
Exactly,
maybe,
exactly, and that's why, with the students, with this organization, who only has students, they're mainly psychology students, and they're mainly girls, like where I started to learn more, and I said, I only want girls in this age,
Yeah.
which is not too old for, or even, and they're good, they're very nice girls, and I like it. So they come, and the way now I do it, I just ask them many times to come when I'm home. When I feel that, my son is happy and comfortable with them, then I ask them, can you bring him home, like sometimes this year. But the same girl, like, she's doing uni, because, she's third year. So she can't come every day, like, certain time, she's available after 6. So these are the things that, then I still have to be the person in charge.
Yeah.
If they're available, great, if not, and they said we can find someone else for it, so they don't have many people in their organization who also live where we are, or they're comfortable traveling.
Yes.
So there's so many, things.
Obstacles,
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of challenges.
Yes.
I think it's something that, it's worth trying to slowly at your pace persevere with, just to for you and for your son. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you can without being disruptive. But it's hard, because it is one of those industries like in aged care and caring, it's the same sort of thing. People come into the industry and come out of the industry, when you're caring for an elderly parent or whatever. It's getting consistent care is difficult.
Exactly, yes.
People leave, the industry is very, rotates quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I think, that this time for me is valuable to learn more about, the job market, and how we can, prepare us.
Yes,
for
definitely.
that. And then, definitely, with time, I'm able to get to that stage, and hopefully he will be less dependent on,
Yeah, well, the next session that we're doing is on resumes and cover letters and the key selection criteria that's often in the jobs and stuff like that, and Olivia will be facilitating that with me, so that will be all on that one, and I'm more than happy for you to bring your resume with you on that one as well, even though you think I might not be ready, but because I hear you saying that you wanted to maybe go full-time, but there's potentially some part-time work that you could do. Do you know what I mean? Like, your son's at school, so potentially there could be something you could do in school hours if you felt like you just wanted to maybe work 2 days a week or 3 days or whatever, just to get, like I said, your sense of self back. Because sometimes just working and being around other people and other adults and stuff like that gives you a real sense of accomplishment. So that would be an option to explore.
I do have a job, but my job is casual.
Casual,
I may not have any work in a month. But then I don't go places on the phone.
So you work from home?
Yes. But this is like, it's very little. And then I want something more, and then, for that, like, over 20 years ago when I gave my resume, and then they wanted me, and then like you don't need to update your resume, you don't do anything, you are just in there, in your list.
Yeah.
And then they call me and want you,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's like, for me, it's like I need to start again.
yeah, and we'll cover that all, because even for next week, if you haven't had a resume for a long time, there's ways to still get your resume out and talk about the skills that you've got, because you've got a lot of skills, so like, you know, you're organising, your son's activities, you know what I mean,
Negotiating.
problem solving, communicating, so you've got all those skills there, so don't worry about that. It's just getting them down and how, and that's what we'll go through, getting how to talk about your confidence.
We have a big job.
Good job. Are you looking to, what's your, I suppose, goals or aspirations? Do you want to get work, or what are you here to hopefully?
I do love a job, but part-time.
Part-time.
And for transport,
Local.
yes, I have some, it's very difficult for me because my son all the time is home. No go anywhere.
Yeah.
Just home. And I need someone to look after him because he doesn't take a tablet for MS. Lots of side effects.
Yes.
In his body, and he put all of them in the rubbish. Yes, and told me, Mom, I don't want to take a tablet anymore. And the GPS told me when, or a specialist doctor told me when he doesn't take a tablet, we can't do NDIS for him, and he doesn't have NDIS. And Centrelink says to me, because your son doesn't take a tablet, we stop his money as well. And you know, my English like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know the rule in here. And when I want to have an interpreter, all the time says to me, we don't have no available interpreter. And just hang up the phone, and I can't get his right or my right. And right now, I talk, speaking with you, someone just wants to help me to get fill the form for NDIS, because I do like to have a job and use my experience. But if my son has NDIS, someone come at home and look after him, cook for him, or something like that, and I can go out. And I hope the lady or gentleman can help me. I hope. If yes, why not? Because in my country, all the time I was out and working. Right now, I just at home look after him. My soul gets sick. Yeah. If I just sit home and just cooking for him and shopping for him, I want to see the people like you and talk to you. That's why my English didn't improve. Yeah. Because all the time at home. Yeah. I saw lots of course from English here when I came here. But when I don't talk to anyone,
Yeah, you forget.
yes, forget the words.
Yeah,
That's it.
and can you claim, can you get NDIS again, or do you?
Yeah, I do, and someone told me just listen your phone, we talk to you and get a time
Yeah.
to you to come and help you.
Yeah.
Because GPS and specialist doctor told me your son doesn't take a tablet, we can't
It's
stop.
from MS people.
Yeah.
We've been contacting, like, I've been going with her and trying to, find different avenues. So, and we filled a form over the phone for, the personal part, but then for the health professional, that's what they have sent, and now we're waiting for MS people to call. They're called like MS support, so
Yes,
they support families to write down that part.
Yeah.
And we're waiting, like it's been 4 weeks now that we're waiting, and so apparently there are many people waiting for them. So that's why she has her phone always on.
Yeah.
So that if they ring, then
Yes.
we don't want to miss it. So
No, definitely, no, take the call. Take the call. Take the call.
all the time at home, if she was like, she always had to wear something with the pocket. So it's always there with her, just in case they ring. So it's another level of stress. But we just try to calm it down and try to, go with the flow. It's really.
Still you want to.
No, you're right, I know we just talked. But I do want to do this one exercise, I'm not going to do this and that, I've done it before, but I really like it.
Ideally.
Yeah. I've just folded it in half so that you don't see the bottom half, because it kind of gives it away. You don't have one too. It's fun to do. It's reflective. So it's called Find Your Own Superhero. So on the top part, you need to write down 3 people that you admire. Now, they don't have to be famous. It could be a friend. It could be, they don't actually necessarily have to be alive either. So it could be, your mum or a friend, or it could be a famous person, an actor or a singer or a musician. There's someone that you look, it could be a politician or it could be, and just write down three names of people that you look at and you think, oh, they're a good person. I would like to be like that person, or not even necessarily like to be like them, but you might have a good friend who you see following and you think, oh, God, that friend's so strong and so we've got it together, and so just 3 names of people. Could be singer, Gandhi or someone like that.
We are alone here. کیه نوشته؟
خب میگه هر کی مثلا میتونه یه خواننده باشه، یه نفری که تو یه خاصیت، یه چیزی در وجودش دیدی، من مثلا خیلی دوست دارم مثل این باشم، یه چیزی درش دیدی که اینو مثلا برات خیلی مهم بوده، یه چیزی شخصیتی ممکنه یه دوستی باشه، حتما نباید آدم معروفی باشه، فامیلت ممکنه باشه، خانوادت ممکنه باشه.
از کجا میشناسی؟
نه خب تو مثلا می‌نویسی، بعد راجبش صحبت می‌کنی که مثلا این شخص به خاطر این من مثلا خوشم میاد، مثلا این ویژگی رو داره.
کی تو می‌نویسی؟
من مثلا فرض کن توی نوشتم، مثلا می‌بینی بعضی وقتا من بهت میگم که من دوست دارم مثل توی باشه، مثلا استادم نوشتم، یا مثلا از نظر دیده مثلا آکادمیک چطور بوده، اینطوریه.
Is that possible because someone in my life were very important to me, and all the time I think about me and continuing your way. but it's not available and passed away.
That's okay, that's okay. So for each person that you write down, so put their, in the next section, put their name at the top, and there's 3 columns, and then write 3 things that what do you admire about that person? So if you put that person's name that you're talking about, what do you like about that, or what did you like about that person, even if they have passed?
Or, for example, my husband, I married twice, and they passed away.
Yeah.
One of them, her father, and he was, we were in love each other. And just 7 years we were living together. And when he had to go somewhere, for example, for some work,
Yes.
I couldn't sleep and he couldn't sleep as well. And all the time, when we wanted to sleep, we had to put our hands until sleeping. Without take a hand, couldn't sleep. You know, but I don't know when he left me and passed away, I thought I passed away as well.
Yeah.
But always he talked to me, please look after our daughter.
Yes.
And I looked after her until now.
Yeah.
And
You're still looking after her because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Our mums always look after us, don't they?
When she got a PhD and she had the ceremony on Friday, I just talked to my husband's see, I look after your daughter, and now she's a doctor. And you know, like I had duty for him. And sometimes he comes to my mind when I sleeping and talk to me. And says to me, well done,
Oh,
well done, Mona.
That's lovely.
How can I?
You just talk to it, and you can't. So that's okay, you can talk to that. So if you open it up, and then you'll see the next part. It says, did you know that what you say about others, it says a lot about you? You can only see in others traits that you have yourself. Otherwise, your brain doesn't register them. A favourite saying is, what you see in another is the secret you keep about yourself. So now finish the following sentences with the things that you admire about others. So you need to pick I am in one of those traits.
After that, please, after that, you write for me. Because when I talk to you, it's very easy for me. And now I have lots of experience.
Yes, you
Like someone was in my life and left me. And now sometimes I say to myself, I wish I had this experience, for example, 20 years before. Yes. And now, at home,
So you pick the strengths from one of the ones you've written down, and other, so you write, so what you've written down about the other people.
Yes.
You take one of those words and,
Okay.
yeah,
because I don't want to get sad.
no,
At home, I write poetry
yeah,
in my language.
yes,
Of course, because in English
it's a little bit hard.
Yes.
English is the hardest language to learn. So how did you go? Was that a little bit of like an eye opener?
Yeah,
What did you think, Amanda?
yeah,
What?
I made me sort of stop and think like the people that I admired, I chose them because like I look up to that and think, oh, I would like improve in that area. But I'm actually like forced right down, like I carry, I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yes.
A bit. Like
Yeah.
I don't always give myself credit for that. But
Correct.
I do.
Yeah, it's a nice little self-reflection to, how did you go?
Yes, I mean, it was really interesting. I never expected that this half. the
Yes.
Second half, yes.
Yes,
Yes, I like every day, like one of them was my mom, like
Yes.
I wrote her, and then the reason is that I learned from very young age that she, like when we were, back in our home country, I remember that, she would always, like, if she didn't know, like, which direction to go, for example, she would go and ask. She was very verbal
yes,
compared to, my aunties, for example.
yes,
So this was something that, assisted me to
Yes.
achieve what I did achieve in life.
yeah,
And even to this day, like even this morning, there was a truck parked in one of the lanes. It was a very big truck. They're doing some work, construction work. So that had blocked my view to turn right, because I had to go like from the, two sides of the road to the other side to take my son to school. And this one just, was there. So there was no way I could see, the other lane. And it would be really dangerous to just, pick and choose and just go.
yeah,
So what I did, and then, we were going, like, we had to come here, so we had to go early, and then, I can't really, I don't have much time to just wait and see. So what I did, I just, brought back the window, and I just waved to the man in the big truck, so obviously he would see me, because there was no other person, it was very early in the morning anyway, so. And then I just see that, and I said, I can't see because you're blocking. And then he understood, so he was the one looking if there is another car coming the other side. And then he said, okay, and then when it was okay, he said, go. And then I thanked him. Then straight away I said to my son, did you see what I did? I didn't wait, for no reason, because there was a car coming,
yeah,
I said, you see, this is what I learned from Molly, my mom, because she would do the same sort of thing. I want you to learn from me. If there is a situation like this, you don't do nothing, you just don't stop.
yeah,
You need to think what to do and ask people for help. You see, I didn't leave the car. You saw that I just, turned the window down and I asked her. So these characteristics I learned from her.
Yes.
And then all the time, I believe that if I achieve something in life, it's because she was my mother. Like if it was my aunties, they weren't like this. They were not like that, to be a bit, like brave enough to just, go and talk and, get your voice heard.
correct.
So then I learned it, and I sort of like everyone is an individual, but you get some strength from your surroundings.
Yes.
And that was one of the
It's a nice reflection, I think, like at the beginning, we described ourselves a bit, what's it, like singular, do you know what I mean, like just as a carer or as a mum, but then when you get to this point and then you look down and put, what did you put? Did you put I am?
Yeah, I put I am verbal, get my voice heard.
Good.
I carry trust and honesty value in me.
Yeah.
My strengths are my perseverance to achieve my goals. And this is like, this I got from my friend, like I have a friend that we started studying together, so you're like over 20 years ago in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And so she achieved, her goals earlier than me, so I still value her friendship and whatever she achieves in life.
Yeah.
I sort of like, think, okay, what would she do? And then, it just comes back to, because we're more alike, you know, and what we've done and, age. And things.
Yes.
Yes. But then I didn't get to my admirable qualities. I don't know about that because I don't see, like, not that I don't have it, but I don't.
What did you write about other people?
For other people, I said that, like, for, my supervisor, academically, I learned from her and her wisdom, like, she's very, very wise, I learned so much from her and how to approach a problem or an issue.
So you put your other qualities are that you can approach, you're not afraid to approach problems head on. Maybe you have got maybe you haven't got the wisdom that she's got, but I'm hearing wisdom coming from you. You're talking very retrospectively, which is wise. Do you know when you're talking about the strengths that you learned from your mother, how you want to raise your son? That's wisdom. It might not be her wisdom, but it's your wisdom. Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget about ourselves.
We do. So that's what this exercise is all about, is to uncover you have got those strengths that you see in others, you have got them in yourself. They might not be exactly the same because everyone's wisdom is different, everyone's perseverance looks different because it depends on your individual goals, but it's definitely something that you have in you. I love this, is my favourite thing to do. Because sometimes we don't place enough value in what we do. We sort of, like, I think you said, Amanda, you just sort of take it for granted, or you sort of, you kind of just get on with the day or get on with your life, and before you know it, it's, you've turned another year older. And but sometimes, we're not going to sit in this space all the time. You're not going to say, but it's just nice to check in with yourself to go, yeah, you know what, I am doing the best for me in the situation at the moment, and I have got goals and I'm going to slowly get there, but not to put too much pressure on yourself either. We sort of, we'll just stick with that there. So we're going to wrap for today with goal setting, and I want you guys to keep this. I've got some handouts for you. You can have a little folder that you can put your documents in and keep. You can put your papers and stuff in. And this will be, I don't expect you guys to fill it out all today, but I think over the course of the sessions you can add to it, and it might change a little bit depending on what we're talking about. So there's do you want to have a copy? No. I don't think I've got it up on that. So there's a form. So I don't know if you've heard of SMART goals, but we're not going to do. We've heard of SMART goals. So specific, measurable. It's a specific, measurable. What's the A stand for? Accountability, realistic and timely. So we're not going to do those ones. They sort of fit into this a little bit, but I did some little research and I like this GROW model. It's been used for a long time. It's quite, I think it's just a softer approach to goal setting. It's got a few different steps to it, whereas the SMART goals are a bit more, you've got to sort of almost put too much accountability into them, and they're a bit more sort of in the now. I mean, you can do long to short-term ones, but so the G stands for, so it's called the GROW.
goal setting model. So the G stands for your goal.
Okay.
The R stands for your reality right now. The O is for your options, which could be lots of different options. And then the W is the way forward. So how do we get there? What help do you need? You know, is there a few shorter goals in between? Yeah, so I really like this one because I just think, so with the goal, like what's important to you at the moment? So what, you know, obviously your family is important to you, your son's important to you, but is working important to you? Is, you know, shifting from maybe a casual job to something maybe part-time important? What's important to you, Mona? Is it getting the NDIS?
Yes,
Getting the NDIS, that could be your goal.
Yes,
The goal doesn't have to necessarily be work. Yeah, so what's important to you at the moment? And what does your ideal future look like?
And so, that's a great thing. It's like your dreams, you know.
Exactly. There could be a big gap between the here and the now, the then, but if your ideal future, Mona, is to have NDIS,
yes.
and then you can get maybe some part-time work or volunteer or whatever, get out into the community, so
I
you
know,
can.
yes.
Why not?
I like children.
Yes.
I can work in primary school or somewhere like that.
Yeah, and your ideal future might be that you want full-time work, did you say?
Yes.
Have you, did you study or something?
Yeah, I studied, yeah.
So-
I just finished a PhD. I should say just because it's not just.
No, just as a bad word.
No, I finished my PhD in 2020, I
Yeah.
submitted. And then it took 1 year for the examiners and everything to come through,
Yeah.
and then I get my degree.
Yes.
And then last Friday, it was the ceremony. So
Oh,
it took 2 years, but
what was your PhD?
it was about the role of interpreters in healthcare, because I'm an interpreter.
Yes.
So that's a casual job.
So you don't get a lot of work. Do you?
No.
And do you want to be the interpreter?
I want, because it was about interpreters, so I'm hoping that, after I publish, my work in different journals, that's what I'm sort of like working on. Then I will be able to, be in academic area, like, in different universities, like there are few in Melbourne, that if I can have a, full-time position.
That's a teaching.
Yes, teaching and doing research.
Yeah.
So this is my goal, like, the future, I like to, dream about it.
I mean, you can write it down when you've got.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, you can write it down, you've got your little thing,
Yeah.
if you wanted to, yeah. You can write it down as you go, as I talk through, but that's, wow, amazing.
I know. A lot of work.
A lot of work. Yeah, no, you should be very proud, so, and I think that's a great goal to have, that if you know, and I'm sure there's positions and options like that all the time in that.
Yeah, I
Teaching
usually
space.
check, but in that section, there are not many, but
Not
that's
many.
why, I need to strengthen my work and, myself,
Yes,
so that I can have, a position like that. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, so.
it's a lot of work.
And then, I have done it, with the child, to look after his well-being,
Yeah,
to fight for his right, find different, therapies and things like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't forget about me,
yeah,
so.
yeah, definitely. So what, like what we just said there, what new skills do you want to learn or develop? Like, you might need to, like you said, develop some other things to complement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The challenges you're facing at the moment are very relevant. This is why I like the grow goals, because it's more realistic to what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, you've got these challenges with your son,
Yeah.
you've both got the challenges with your own sons, but and NDIS and carers and getting appropriate carers and what are you currently working toward? And just using positive language for the goal, which is really important. So not sort of putting in, oh, I can't do it because I need to get appropriate carers. You know, how important is your goal to you, to that maybe you find a different agency or you push hard within DIS, we can, you know, just.
Yeah, I like what you suggested, that, you know, having, like, starting part-time, when I'm
Yeah.
working for myself, then, you know, then during the school hours, so
Yes.
that's, I don't know why I never thought of that, so.
Yes.
It's something, you know.
Yeah, it's
can
just,
work, you know?
it definitely can work, and then that way it gets you, you know, then it sort of feeds that hunger, do you know, it gets that motivation, and then it's, and things sometimes when we put that step forward, then the possibilities just keep, like, sometimes we just gotta be open to it and open to those, they feel a bit scary. For me personally, coming into this industry, I spent a lot of years in retail as a store manager and operations manager. I kind of just fell into the community sector, and I studied again, and scary studying as an adult. We haven't studied for such a long time, and I'm doing the diploma in community services at the moment. I just sort of, it was really, I sort of almost thought, oh, can I do this job? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know this industry, there was new terms, and I was really, you know, because I felt so confident in the role that I'd had in the past, I sort of was like, oh, I don't know if I'll be okay at it, or I don't know what to expect, but I just kind of went, oh, well, I'm going to do it, and you know, I haven't looked back, like, and then it just kept opening up other doors. I've met some amazing people as well. It's not just the work, it's the people that I work with, and then the people that I meet in the training space, and the women that come in and volunteer. And people from the community as well. So I think it's been a very positive journey, although it felt very, very scary. Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt very unsure. Yeah. Especially when you're in that space of feeling safe in what you're doing right now. Yeah. But, you know, I look back at that other life that I had, and it was quite toxic. Retail can be quite draining, toxic, and, you know, customers can be terrible. And it's very full on, like, they expect a lot, but so yeah, anyway. So the reality, so what's working well for you at the moment? You know, is your routine working well, or is it not working well, or is your family life, or your friends, or yeah, it could be anything. What do you need to get to your goal? Do you need some outside help? Yeah. What have you done so far to improve things? So what have you put in place so far to, I mean, you've obviously finished your PhD and you've got a system in place to study, and you've done that. What are you passionate about? So obviously you're passionate about maybe teaching in that interpreter space. You sound like you're passionate about working with people, children, or just being around.
Retired person in the hospital or somewhere. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Because I think my experience shouldn't sleep here.
No.
Should come out and help to.
Exactly.
That's the life.
Exactly. So we can get some support for you, then you can get back out into like the community organisations that you can get involved with.
Yes.
You know, even as a volunteer or friendship or lots of different things.
Yes.
Yeah. And then obviously what parts of your life will be impacted by you achieving your goal? And that could be impacted, obviously, we hope they're impacted in a positive way, but sometimes there's a bit of uncomfortableness in that as well, because there's a readjustment of your life, or, you know, sort of maybe trusting your son to be a little bit more independent that could be, or trusting a carer with your son, that can be an impact that you might have that worry to begin with, because sometimes, as you said, it doesn't all go to plan with the carers. The reality, so what, have you used excuses before? Because we've all used excuses for not achieving your goal. I'm too busy, I'm too tired, I've got too much going on. My kids, you know, there's always our kids, isn't it? Even at 34, like it's always our kids. Or, you know, it could be money, it could be anything. And what's the biggest obstacle you're currently facing? So what's, I suppose, holding you back, and how can we kind of work around that or work toward that not being an obstacle? Because that could be, you know, it's not, nothing happens overnight, it's like a journey. What's up to self-sabotage? Sometimes we do have a little bit of self-sabotage, I know I do. I'm only human, and, you know, sometimes we just, it's a bit, I had a week last week, I don't know why. I just wanted to, like, I should say cancel my title, but I just was, you know, I think I'm in perimenopause or whatever, and I just wanted to, like, rip people's heads off, and I was frustrated because I could feel inside me, like, this frustration, and I got angry at my partner for no real reason, my kids, I was short with people, a little bit short with people at work, but not so much. And I just thought, why am I doing this? You know, I came home and yelling at everyone on Friday night. And I've come out of it now, but my partner said to me, he's really good. My ex-husband would have just put more fuel on the fire and, like, maybe a big bonfire, maybe he'd blow up. No, he wouldn't. He was terrible, that's why he's an ex-husband. He was sort of like, oh, I'm gonna go, let's have some kick. Let's put a bit of Caro on there. And my partner just said to me, he said, for Swings, you grumpy with me? And I go, no, not really. And he goes, well, what's going on? You're not yourself. Like, you're just not your usual self. He goes, everything right? He goes, I know you've had this. And he just kind of really calmed me down and diffused. He said, you know, I know you've had a busy week and we've got a lot going on. And because we don't live together at the moment, but we're about to make all that happen. And it was just nice to have him, like, diffuse it for me and just not, you know what I mean, like, not go, oh, what's your problem, you know? Go joke with you. You're snappy. That's what the other one had done. And so therefore I think, I knew I had that self-reflection. I thought, I'm being really unreasonable, but I don't know why. But then, you know, it calmed me down, and I sort of thought, don't be too hard on yourself, Renee. Like, you're only human, life can get yucky sometimes. I was playing my inner critic last week. I was criticised. My brain was like constantly going, I know you're being unreasonable, I know you're being grumpy, but I was being a bit hard on myself too. I should have just let it happen, and, you know. Yeah, what fears? We all got some fears too. Fear of the unknown. Fear of, you know, stepping out that little ledge and taking a leap. And then we've got options. So options is, what is your first steps? What do we need to get to the goal? And if success was guaranteed, what would you do? So if you knew you were going to get the job or the end day is tomorrow, what would you do? Would you go and get that full-time job? If you had the perfect carer, do you know what I mean? I think I like that one. And if money was not an obstacle, this is my favourite one. I'll have a house cleaner, that's for sure. And maybe a cookie, but I don't know, or a gardener. A gardener and another house cleaner.
I answered you all questions before you see you show us. Oh, I answered that.
Oh, you answered that, yeah. Yeah, so what action step is the best use of your time at this moment? So is it, you know, coming here, or is it speaking, you know, just to sort of work it out, or is it, you know, coming to the next session to work on, you know, if you want to get part-time or get your resume, or, and if you could do only one thing this week, what would it be? And it could just be taking time out for yourself. It could be going to the park or going to have a coffee somewhere, or just having some your own time. And then
Oh, what would you do if the answer to no one? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? I mean, no. And then, oh, that was, oh, sorry. There was a few more, if you had 50% more confidence, what would you be doing with, that would be different? Would you have them, you know, be bringing up people going, you know, kind of, or would you bring up the casual place and say, haven't I got a lot of work lately, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's.
They don't, they, like, if they have their calls.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah. If someone else came to you with your option, what would you tell them? Would you tell them something different that you tell yourself?
The
Say-
same thing.
Would you say
The same thing, I
Yeah.
don't know. Encourage them.
Yeah, you encourage them, yeah.
Encourage them
Yeah,
Not to be scared.
not to be scared, yeah, to go for it, take the chance. Because if you get said, told no, then you just, the next no might be yes. Well, Matt and I were talking about that earlier with job interviews and stuff like that, weren't we? And when you know, sometimes you go getting a lot of success with it and you sort of, and then you got the good feedback, didn't you? And that was,
Yeah. Well, another thing as well, like when a no becomes a yes, like I didn't get this job originally, get lucky, you know, my colleague beat me to it, but then the program got more funding, so they called me out like 2 months later and said, oh, you interviewed really well, it was really close, do you want to come on board as well? So it was a no, but then it became a yes.
yeah, so that's awesome,
Yeah.
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 And this job for me too was only 3 days a week to begin with, and I thought, well, that's not enough for me, for money wise, at the beginning. So I was a carer as well, but in aged care, so I go to people's homes and do that with the elderly, so I supplemented my income doing that. I now work full time for them, I'll say to them, full time sometimes a little bit too much, but anyway, I'm managing. But yeah, you know, I could have said no because 3 days wasn't quite enough, but
Yeah, but you got it.
I just thought, no, you know what, I really wanted to change careers, so that was more important to me at the time. I thought I'll just do something else. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, bring the money in. Yeah. And obviously the way forward is, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to achieve your goal? How committed you are to achieving it? And how we celebrate when you've achieved your goal as well. And then what are you going to do with the next 24 hours? And what do you need to include in the journey to that goal? It could be quite a few different steps. And then what else do you need to consider before starting? Yeah, so yeah. So that's I quite like that little growing on because it's quite self-reflecting, and it opens up a lot of questions that sometimes you don't sometimes consider when setting goals, and that can be a small goal, or it could be a large goal as well. Yeah. So that's basically it for session 1. As I said, next week Olivia will be, depending on where we are, if we're at Moorbar, I suppose not next week, sorry, on the 11th.
Yes.
I apologise. Next fortnight, I suppose we can work out where we're going to be.
Yeah. Would you have one
The only problem is,
in this area, so we'll just have to like, yeah. Or maybe we could do like another live stream. Again, if you're happy to attend live stream, if we do end up being here, I just have to figure it out.
yeah, no, that's all, that's okay, we can figure out. The
So you
example,
prefer in person or you don't mind?
میخواد که دیگه مثلا میخواد که آنلاین باشه یا میخواد بیاد کدومشون I think we don't mind coming.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't mind coming.
Okay.
As today it was good, you know, we came out of the home, it was beautiful on the way, I mean,
Yes,
we don't complain, you
No.
know, but that's the time we were able to get here, you know.
yeah, so if we make it push it to 10:30, if you find to
Face
come,
to face is.
face to face.
Online.
So So if you still want to make it up here, we can just change the time to 10:30.
Yeah,
10:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then if we're able to have a lift with you, then
Yeah, I
if
can
that's
give,
okay.
yeah, I
Next
can give,
time,
yeah,
so then-
yeah, I can give you a lift
Yeah,
back,
Thank you.
yeah,
So we can reach home, you know, on time.
Yeah.
not to worry.
no, that's okay with me.
Okay, good. Oh, great, thanks, okay, so.
Alright, we'll leave it here then, and then,
I
Well, then-
enjoyed that.
Did you enjoy
that?
Yes.
yeah,
You
so,
know,
very
online is
useful.
good
Yeah.
because then you don't need to leave home, but it doesn't sometimes give you that, you know, that touch, that human touch.
yes, I think that's
You
really
know?
important,
Yes, yes. Yeah.
really important, yeah. Alright, well, yeah, you can keep those folders and there'll be things to add to them as we go through, so you can leave them here if you like and just write your name on them, or if you want to take them home, take them home, yeah,
Yes.
no.
Attach that
Yeah,
inside.
yeah, put the pen, yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you want to have another cup of tea or a cup of coffee,
Yes.
I've just got to do a few things before
That's okay.
we go.
Yeah.
Before I